brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Greetings, good evening, welcome to our weekly Sunday night Army List show. You're gonna have to bear with me for a minute because about 5 minutes ago I was asleep because I was trying to get my damn son to go to sleep, sitting in a dark room with him, and I fell asleep. So I need a minute to wake up, but good evening, hello. How are you? Nice to see you. We do this every Sunday night. We look at lists submitted by community. Hello Vintage Flanker. Hello Mike. Hello Wolf Tom 2. Hello CFT. Hello Quay. Hello Firefly. Hello Benjamin Stewart. Hello Chase. Who else is here? Tim Phelps. Good evening. Krychek. Good evening. Vintage Flanker. Good evening. Yes, Mike says that he fell asleep with his son in his bedroom all the time as well. Yeah, I fell asleep sitting up, if you can believe that. So it might just take me a minute to like I'm still booting up. You know when Windows does those memory checks. Back in the day, it checked your memory 3 times before the computer started up. Gar. Or Gara Star, thank you so much for becoming a member, dude. I appreciate it. Trying to get to 100 members this month. Very ambitious, but you know, we're getting there. It's about halfway through the month. Trying to get to 23,000 subscribers. I think YouTube's been cleaning up bots the last few days because I've been stuck like 10 subscribers away from 23,000 for like a week. So I keep getting days where I lose subscribers, so I assume YouTube is deleting bots. So for some reason, somebody is subscribing to my channel with bots, I don't know why. Or I've done crap content and everyone's unsubscribing. So yeah, nice to see you all. Thanks for being here. There wouldn't be a show on a Sunday night if you didn't show up. If you do enjoy the show at any point, leave a like. What we do is, when the stream ends, you can put your list in the comment section. You just need to put it in the comment section like this, the sort of export you would see coming out of like Battlescribe or the Games Workshop app or wherever you have it. If you're a member, like Garstar just became a member, you will get priority in the queue, which probably means you'll get on the show in the next couple of weeks. If you're a non-member, you will still get on, but it might not just be as fast. So thanks so much for becoming a member again. I do super appreciate it. Don't Poke Kenny says, I started priming my Dante and Sangregard. What good timing. Cool. I like Retributor Armor Spray. I think it's pretty good. Alright, so we're going to start with JLQ1331. You guys always keep me on my toes with your names. Balin at what costs? 1970 points. Interesting that we've got 30 points we can't use here. We'll see if we can spend the 30 points. I guess when I'm doing this, I like to try and make improvements to the list. I like to tell you what I would do based on my experience. And if we can, I would like to optimize or change a thing or add a relic or something like that. Alright, we're starting with the Captain with a Sustain 2 enhancement. Another Captain with a Fight First enhancement. I should say we're playing the Rage Cursed Onslaught detachment, which is the popular one at the moment. We've got Dante Lamartez, and we have a Tech Marine. Tech Marine is an interesting choice in Rage Cursed, right? Because not many people in Rage Cursed are running vehicles, unless, of course, you're running Death Company Dreadnoughts and you want a Tech Marine to keep them alive. I mean, I could see that as a thing. It's not something I've seen very often, but we could see that as a thing. We've got a 10-man squad of Intercessors. I don't think you need 10 Intercessors. I don't know what the advantage of running 10 over 2 5s would be. If you want to run 10 intercessor models, I think you should 100% run 2 5s. That lets you split them up, lets you sticky to objectives, that lets you screen out more of the backfield. That lets you get extra power fist as well, because every 5 you can take 1 power fist. You can only take 1 power fist in the 10-man unit. So instantly I would split these up, but I don't think you need 10 intercessors. Most people are playing 5. You have the double ball predator, which we love and know is pretty good. We have the double Death Company Dreadnought. So I actually played this recently on my stream, right? Double Ball Predator, double Death Company Dreadnought. I've played it twice. 1 win, 1 loss. I'm not sure I actually like it. Like, I think I might change it up a little bit. I think the thing about Rage Cursed is, like, you want to have lots of Death Company, you want to have lots of Sanguinary Guard. You don't necessarily want to have 4 vehicles. I mean, you can have 4 vehicles, not the end of the world. But then you have the 10 Death Company. You have a Gladiator Lancer in there as well. Oh, interesting. We then have the 3 small squads of Sanguinary Guard. So they will be attached to the 3 captains, Dante and the 2 captains. Lamartas will have the 10. The Tech Marine's there because you've got 5 vehicles. And then Lamartas is there with 10 Death Company. Yeah, this is a... I'd say it feels a little confused. I think in this detachment you want a minimum of 20 Death Company models. Be it 2 squads of 10 or a 10 and 2 5s. This detachment doesn't need all the captains either. Yeah, good point, because captains don't really buff the Sanguinary Guard in any meaningful way in this detachment. 4 vehicles in this detachment is probably like... 4 vehicles feels like a lot, so going 5 is probably the wrong call. My sweet spot for vehicles so far in Rage Cursed Onslaught has been 2 Ball Predators and 1 Death Company Dreadnought. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that, Jojo. I understand why you would take a Lancer, because if the enemy has some big nasty thing that you can't get to, you want the Lancer to just be able to shoot it off the table. I understand why you would take that. I think you would have to drop... I think the list needs more Death Company. And I think that there's 2 ways you could do that, right? You probably want to drop a captain. You've got... If you drop a captain, remember you had 30 points left over. So if you drop either of these captains, you're up to 130 points. You drop a Death Company Dreadnought, you're up to 290 points. That's definitely like another 5-man Death Company with a chaplain, at least. You could also drop half those intercessors for another 80 points, so you could be up to like 370 points. I think 5 Death Company and a chaplain are 195 points, is that right? Chaplain with jump pack is... 75, Death Company are 120 for 5, 95. So you'd be agonizingly 10 points away from adding 10 more jump Death Company. Oh, but then you've got Tech Marine. Yeah, like, get rid of the, like... I don't know if I feel like a Tech Marine. The thing about Ball Predators is, if they get focused, they just die, right? Like, most opponents with high-level shooting are very unlikely to leave a Ball Predator with, like, wounds. And even if it's left with wounds and you repair it, they're probably going to heal it next turn. You don't need the Tech Marine to give the Ball Predator +1 to hit. You don't need the +1 to hit on the Gladiator Lancer. You don't need the +1 to hit. So yeah, I think this list would be better if you got rid of 5 Intercessors, a Tech Marine, 1 of the Death Company Dreadnoughts, 1 of the Captains, and then you just got another 10 Death Company in there, both led by Chaplains. You might even have points at that to lead one of those other units by Astaroth if you wanted to do Devastating Wounds. Or you could take a 10-man, another 10-man, and use the Chaplain with a Scout Enhancement. Do extra attack weapons get the extra attacks from Rage Cursed Onslaught? No, extra attack weapons have no way of ever being buffed. If it says extra attacks 1, it's always 1. There's no way to change that. You can't mess with extra attacks. It is mentioned somewhere in the core rules. Probably in the main rulebook, I imagine. Because it was like, yeah. You can't, like, if you've got +2 attacks, you can't use those +2 attacks on the extra attacks weapon. How good is Lamarta's in the Death Company? Watch the video I put out on Friday, Kenny. He's probably the best. He's probably the best choice for Death Company, right? In fact, he's probably the best unit in Rage Cursed Onslaught. Lamarta's +10 Death Company. Ideally, they sit in reserves. He's king, apparently, says Firefly. Good evening, Firefly. Okay, so a few tweaks here. It wouldn't be too much to change, but I think 4 vehicles feels like the absolute max I would run with Blood Angels, and I think, like, because when I was running Liberator Assault Group, I was running 3 vehicles and an Impulsor. And I think when I was running Angelic Inheritors, I was also running 3 vehicles and an Impulsor. Or I think I was running... Was it 3 vehicles? Was it 2 Vindicator tanks and 2 Impulsors? Yeah, that's what it was. 2 Vindicator tanks, 2 Impulsors. I don't think you should ever go over 4 vehicles, and I don't know if I feel like 4 vehicles is ever enough to include a Tech Marine, right? Because, like, look at Ultramarines. They often run, like, 2 Lancers, 2 Vindicator tanks, maybe, like, a Repulsor or a Land Raider. Like, I've seen that in tournaments. I've seen it do really well, and they don't even have any Tech Marines, right? Crycheck says he runs 5 vehicles every game. Do you run any Tech Marines? That's my question. Because I don't mind the Tech Marine. I've run him before. I just don't know if I feel like... If he's stopping you having 5 more Death Company, I would get rid of him. I think in Rage Cursed Onslaught, you want Death Company. You don't run any Tech Marines. Well, so 5 vehicles, no Tech Marines. Maybe if you have 6 vehicles, you shouldn't have some Tech Marines, but realistically, if you have 6 vehicles, why are you playing Blood Angels? You should probably be playing Iron Hands, right? Or maybe another detachment that's better at shooting than Blood Angels, because Blood Angels, like a detachment that has a lot of shooting bonuses. That's not Blood Angels, right? Okay, we're looking at JLR. He's the next list. He's also running Rage Cursed Onslaught. We've got the Jump Captain. You should change his weapon options. I assume you know to do that. You just missed it. We've got the Chaplain with the Scout move. We've got a Chaplain with the Sustain 2. We've got Mephiston and Lamarta's. You know, I recently played Mephiston to a tournament, man. I just think he's so unreliable. He's so difficult to play at high level because he is unreliable. If you love the model and you want to play him, by all means. But, like, the chance of you winning a tournament with him, I feel like, is pretty slim. Because, I'll give you an example. Like, one of my games, he just dies straight out. He just moves into the middle of the objective and he just gets killed almost straight away. And then another one of my games, he just moved around the board, killing everything by himself. He's just, his save is swingy, his smite is swingy, his sword is swingy, his you can't fall back ability around me is swingy. It's just swingy. It's just far too many swingy things. So he can either be the best thing in the world, or he can literally be 120, I was going to say 130, I guess they took him down. He can be 120 points of nothing. Alright, in Rage Cursed Onslaught, we still have a unit of Jump Intercessors, we have a single Ball Predator, we have the 20 Death Company, like I said, this is good, this is really good. We have a unit of Infiltrators to screen the backfield, we have 2 Predator Annihilators. I actually don't mind the idea of Predator Annihilators in Rage Cursed, because it's 40 in shooting. They can have your Oath of Moment, because you don't really need it on Death Company or Sanguinary Guard. And they're versatile, right? Predator Annihilators, they've got... las cannons, and they've got oh no, sorry, it's the destructors that are versatile. These ones are just las cannons. Okay, so they're like a poor man's Gladiator Lancer. Well, because they can take your Oath of Moment, I think it's okay. We then have 9 Sanguinary Guard and 3 small squads, and a unit of scouts. Okay, It's a good number of Death Company. It's a good number of Sanguinary Guard. We've got the Baal to push forward. We've got 2 Annihilators to give us some fire support. We've got some Infiltrators to hold the backfield. We had a unit of Scouts there that could do some actions. Jump Intercessors, they're fine. They're not great in this detachment. They're fine. Maybe they can do a little bit of like trading or move blocking or something. They just don't do very much damage in this detachment. And I think that's because their chainswords are strength 4. So you would have a chaplain. So both 5-man Death Companies are buffed with chaplains. 1 squad of Sanguinary Guard is buffed. And the 10-man Death Company with Lamartas is buffed. And then we've got Mephiston doing lone operative things that, like I said, will either be super amazing or absolute dog shit. There's no in between. Geo LLI, I don't know how you say that. Geo asks, hello, quick question on the Death Company. Why so many people do not include the Infernal Pistols, including yourself on the 10-man list? I mean, you can only have 2 Infernal Pistols on a 10-man unit, right? That's the limit. I think most people do include the 2 Infernal Pistols on the 10-man, and you can have 1 Infernal Pistol on the 5-man, right? I'm convinced my list has Infernal Pistols in it. Like, I'm convinced my army list has Infernal Pistols in it. I've played it a couple of times recently on stream. If it didn't have Infernal Pistols in it, then that was my mistake. I didn't write it up correctly, because when I am playing my Rage Curse list, it does indeed have Infernal Pistols in it. Just the limit that you've got there, right? Let me see what my data sheet says. No, I mean, like, here's my list that I'm playing on the stream at the moment. Like, 10 Death Company, 2 Infernal Pistols, another 10 Death Company, 2 Infernal Pistols. Yeah, I mean, take them if, you know, I think you should probably take them. Just 2 Infernal Pistols with no rerolls. You got no rerolls to hit, you got no rerolls to wounds. So realistically, plus the 6 inches per model. So if you've got a big 10-man unit of Death Company and 1 Infernal Pistol is at one end and 1 Infernal Pistol is the other end, quite often you maybe only get to shoot 1 Infernal Pistol just because I saw you skip the math on the Catan. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? You only have 2 shots. So, and I didn't include it because, yeah, you have to be in range, and that can actually be more difficult than you think when they only have a 6-inch range, because if you've got them spread out in the squad, you might only end up having 1 in range. But if you only get 2 Infernal Pistols, right, you only hit 66% of the time, so you only get 1.3 hits. You only wound 33% of the time because you wound on 5s, and then they save on 50% of the time. So if you've got 2 Infernal Pistols, the chances of you actually hitting and wounding and then failing a save, because you would times this by 100, right, is 21%. So I didn't include it because, like I said, they're super unreliable. There's a 21% chance of you doing any damage to the Catan, and then you might roll a 1, and then they might just 5-up Feel No Pain it, right? So I didn't include it because I mean, I guess if you can. You could work it out. I just didn't include it. The way I look at it is, if you do some damage with those Infernal Pistols, it's a bonus, because statistically they shouldn't be doing fuck all, or they're gonna do fuck all. And there's some swears to get the stream demonetized. It's not too early in the stream. I might have not demonetized yet. If you enjoy tonight's video and you enjoy my swearing, please do click the like button. Okay. Harry says I have a 750-point tournament coming up. Any suggestions for the list? I mean, I made a video about a 1,000-point list a couple of weeks ago, Harry. So I would go look at that 1,000-point video and probably, like, it had a 10-man Death Company in it, cut it to 5, and then you're probably going to have to cut 1 other unit, right? Maybe you have to cut the Scouts. Maybe you have to cut 1 of the other characters in the list, so you only have one character or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't play 750 points, but I think, like, you're going to want a unit of... You need a character. You're probably going to want, like... Small battles probably benefit Blood Angels at the moment, because Sanguinary Guard are really effective. So you might want like 5 intercessors and 3 units of 3 Sangre Guard and a captain. And I mean, that's going to be the best part of 500 points. So at that point, you could just throw in a tank, or you could throw in a unit death company. You don't have a whole lot of options, to be honest, in 750 points, do you? Cool. So I like this list a lot more than the last one. I actually kind of like the idea of trying Predator Annihilators in Rage Cursed because it gives you long range firepower. You can use Oath of Moment on it. I played Mephiston, some of the recent tournament list I played in. I've played Mephiston twice to a 5-man GT. Both times people have in the chat or people that watch my stream have been like, John, why the fuck are you playing Mephiston in a tournament? He's too unreliable. And he is, and like realistically he is too unreliable for tournaments, but I like the character. So I'll probably keep playing him. But he was unreliable last edition, he's unreliable this edition. You're probably better off taking the Combi Weapon Lieutenant, who has stealth, who has the reactive move, who has the same OC, and then you get like 50 points back because the Combi Weapon Lieutenant is a 75 point model. So you can take 45 points and use them to get... It's like half another squad. Like what... I guess the advantage... Mephiston sometimes can go down on a flank, or he can be in the middle of the board and he can mop up a lot of stuff. It doesn't happen all that often. I think in one of my games, actually, Mephiston did actually get shot by a Gladiator Lancer. He shot it with the main cannon, so that's 2 shots. Strength 16 or 18, AP 4, and I actually saved it on a double 6. So Mephiston lived in that game, and that's why he popped off, and that's what I was saying. He's like, sometimes he just does amazing things. But I don't think he's a great tournament pick. The people that are winning the top end events are not taking Mephiston. I would say I'm not going to 500 player GTs. I go to like 30 player GTs. I like to have fun. I do like to win. Like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't like to win. But maybe I know personally that I probably shouldn't take Mephiston. Would you agree, Commander? Mephiston is difficult to use because melee damage D3 is save and invuln. Yeah, everything about him is unreliable. Right? His save is unreliable because he doesn't have a good invuln save. His Feel No Pain is kind of unreliable. His Smite is unreliable. His no fallback power isn't unreliable. His sword is unreliable. Everything about him is really swingy. Especially when, I think he's got Sustain 3 on his Smite. And I think I have, in the past, rolled like 2 or 3 6s and all of a sudden he's like done 9 attacks on the Smite. Whereas like normally you Smite and you get like no damage. I would say it feels like he's as likely to do... Well, that's a lie. He does 0... Basically, when you smite with him, I forget what it's called, like Focused Witchfire or Overcharged Focused Witchfire. Most of the time when you do it, it does fuck all. Right? Like, you do it in just... Like, it's Strength 5, so you do it into Toughness 5 or less opponents. It's just not enough attacks. It usually fuck all. You know, like, if you compare it to, like, Tigris's Smite, you know, like, you could roll 3 6s and suddenly you've got 12 attacks or something. I think I've had 9 attacks out of this Smite. But like if you compare it to Tigris's, or Tigerius, excuse me, his Smite is like amazing, right? Look, where is it? Yeah, 2d6, 6, 2, 2. I mean, I would trade Mephiston's Smite for that in a heartbeat. Because quite often with 2d6, you can roll like a 9 or something, right? And it's like, oh, right, 9 attacks, 6 minus 2, 2. What does Mephiston get? Normally, you roll like 2 hits. So he gets 2 hits at 5 minus 2, d3. Why is his Smite d3 and Tigerius's flat 2? Goddamn Ultramarines get everything, don't they? Ultramarines, we hate you, don't we? We really, they just... Games Workshop just love Ultramarines. And how is Tigerius' Smite more powerful than Mephiston? That's ridiculous. Have they read any of the 40k books? Come on. I'm really loving Hammer and Shield on the jump pack captains. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Thunderhammers can be good when you roll 6s. Jojo says, I haven't touched the Floor Death Company. Yeah, nobody touches the Floor Death Company, Jojo. They suck. They don't get any special weapons, so they get less anyway. And then they only move 6 inches, and I think the thing that makes Death Company strong probably is because they can move 12 inches with a jump pack. Like, ever since they introduced the fact that Death Company could take jump packs, which I feel like is all the way back in, like, 2nd edition, or maybe 3rd edition of the game, I've always felt Death Company on foot are pointless when they can literally move double with the jump packs, right? They're just so much stronger with the jump pack, and then when you're charging with the jump pack, you don't have to, you measure over models, because you just fly over them. It's so much better. Alright, next up, we are looking at Jeff Sherwood's list, and he's also running Rage Curse. Lots of Rage Curse lists tonight, again. We have a Chaplain of the pre-game move, we have Dante, we have a Death Company Captain with a Fight First. I don't think the Death Company Captain is the right choice in this detachment, because you've got no way of getting +1 to wound except the Chaplain. I think you should have the Chaplain, but that's just my opinion. I'm convinced I did a video actually that showed that the Chaplain will buff the Death Company more than the sustained hits, right? Because +1 to wound on like 30 wound rolls is better than like 5 extra hits that only wound on like 5s or 6s because you don't have +1 to wound. We have a Judasar for Fight First. We have Lamartez, and then we have a Lieutenant with combi weapon with the Sanguinary Tear. I don't really know if I rate the Sanguinary Tear. I think there's some niche circumstances where it can be good. It gives Death Company models within 6 +1 to their strength. And that's all weapons, so melee and shooting. Okay. So we've got a squad of Intercessors, cool. We have a 6-man unit of Blade Guard, they'll be attached to the Judasar. We have the Death Company Dreadnought, we have the 10 Death Company, they'll be with Lamartez. We have 2 5 Death Company, but you didn't pick special weapons on here, but I assume you should have, because you get an Eviscerator and a couple of Power Fists in each squad. One's led by a Chaplain of the pre-game move, one's led by the Fight First Death Company Captain. I really think they should both be led by Chaplains. We have Infiltrator Squad, we have an Invader ATV, we have 2 3-man squads of Sanguinary Guard, and then we have Scouts, 70-point Scouts. We've got Sustain 2 on Fight on Death. I don't think you can have Sustain 2 on Fight on Death. Because you've got the Fight First enhancement. I mean, I guess you could put Sustain 2 on the character, but that's not what we've got in this list. In this list, we've got Master of the Red First, which is Fight First. It's Angel's Fang that is the sustained one, right? Okay. Interesting list. It feels pretty character heavy. There's 2 actually. We've got an Invader ATV and the Death Company Dreadnought. That is the limit of our vehicles. We've got Blade Guard with Fight First. We've got 5 Death Company with Fight First. We've got 3 small units of Sanguinary Guard. We've got the 10 Lamartez. I guess we've got Dante with 3 Sanguinary Guard as well. And then we've got a combi weapon lieutenant giving Death Company +1 to their strength. Maybe that's just filling points, because maybe it's not even filling points. I would lose unless there's a situation where you really think that +1 to strength is going to be massively different for Death Company. I would be losing this enhancement, because then I've got 75 points left. 75 points is a whole other squad. Like, it's another squad of Assault Intercessors. That's an... I mean, that's a... I don't really like Invader ATVs. I definitely don't like them with Onslaught cannons. I would prefer them with multi-meltas. But that's another ATV. Like, I think that's just better than having +1 strength. I'm trying to think, like, so Death Company are strength 7 and 8. Mainly. Like, the Eviscerators and the Power Fists are strength 7 or 8. So they'll be strength 8 or 9. And in some situations, I guess you can move them to strength 9 and 10. So I guess if you're fighting against toughness 10 things, maybe there's a situation there where Death Company are much better with +1 to their strength. But for the most part, I think that's it. You've got it on the Combi Weapon Lieutenant. This guy, he's not really designed to follow a jump pack unit of Death Company around. I guess the +1 strength might help the Death Company Dreadnoughts multi-meltas. Just feels like 35 points is a lot of points when we could have a whole other unit. Yeah, I don't know if I really rate. I don't know if I really rate the Death Company captain in this detachment. And yeah, we need to fix the unit, we need to fix the equipment on those Death Company. I'm really trying to decide on this Judasar, right? Judasar with 6 Blade Guard. Or, yeah, with 6 Blade Guard. So you got Fight First on 6 Blade Guard, but you're only strength 5. If you charge, you're still only strength 5. I mean, I much prefer the idea of the Chaplain on the Blade Guard. I guess, yeah, there's situations where the Blade Guard can be good, in that, like, I don't know, you're fighting against Orcs or you're fighting against Eldar or something, but there's also a lot of situations where the Blade Guard with no bonus to wound are going to be pretty bad, right? Blade Guard are only strength 5. Strength 5 into any sort of monster vehicle list is going to be wounding on 6s, probably. Wounding on 5s, wounding on 6s is going to be rough. This detachment, the way that this detachment becomes really strong is you add lots of +1 to wound. So it's why all the Sangre Guard have spears, it's why all the Death Company are attached to chaplains, right? This detachment gets really strong if you give everybody +1 to wound. Because you're re-rolling 1s to wound as well, so those things kind of stack. So if you don't have +1 to wound, then you're in kind of a tough situation. I think the Judasar to me feels like the wrong choice. And again, the Chaplain's 10 points cheaper. So if we swap out the Judasar for a Chaplain, we swap out this Death Company Captain for a Chaplain, we get rid of this enhancement, we've got 85 more points. 85 more points is meaningful. That's a unit of Death Company on foot. That's a unit of another unit of Intercessors. That's a unit of Outriders. I think Outriders are okay in this detachment. I think 85 points is much more meaningful. And then you've got your Blade Guard with +1 to wound. You've got all your Death Company, except the ones with Lamartas. They've got lethals with +1 to wound. So I think you want to double down on the +1 to wound. Oh, Firefly has just said the exact same thing to me. Give the Chaplain the Fight First enhancement. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Death Company with the Fight First enhancement if they're led by a Chaplain. If they're not led by a Chaplain, then I'm not the hugest fan. Because sustained hits is nice, but your wound rolls are not good. Like, if you fight... I fought at the tournament like a Tyrannid monster list, where like the whole list was like big, nasty Tyrannid monsters with toughness 10 plus. And if you don't have +1 to wound, then your melee against that feels terrible. Feels absolutely terrible. It's like you only wound on 5s, you only wound on 6s. It's just not good enough. Yeah, I mean, you could get like... I don't mind the idea of giving the Chaplain on foot with the Blade Guard the Fight First enhancement. I think that's fine as well. I mean, that might be stronger than the Death Company, but I think I would make those changes anyway. Alright, we're moving on. Benjamin Stewart's list next. After running a few variants of this list, I'm happy with how this performs. Rapid and fight first with a captain. Sangre Guard work a treat. Okay, so again, Rage Curse tonight. We have a captain with a jump pack. We have a chaplain with a jump pack with the pre-game move. We have another chaplain. Dante, Lamartez, and our combi weapon lieutenant. It's got intercessors, a single Death Company dreadnought, the 20 Death Company with the correct weapon options this time, unit of eradicators. I mean, it's nice to have some anti-tank. You could throw them into reserve. It's hard to screen out 3 eradicators. 3 units of Sangre Guard. It's nice and cheap as well at 90 points. A unit of scouts, and then a Vindicator tank, which you could also throw in reserve if that's your only one tank. Yeah, you throw the Vindicators and the Eradicators in reserve. We've run it a few times. We've got Rapid Ingress. We've got the Fight First Captain. So the Fight First Captain will be with some Sangre Guard. Cool. Yeah, it's decent. We've got the Death Company with the pre-game move. We've got Lamartus for the 10. We've got some sticky objectives. We've got Combi Weapon Lieutenant. We've got Dante with some Sangre Guard as well. We've got some anti-tank in terms of Vindicators and Eradicators. You know what? I would try this. This seems like an okay list. Amable Apple says, I have a Blood Angels Combat Patrol, the 9th edition Combat Starter Box, 2 Jump Pack boxes, which I plan to build as Death Company, a Brutalis box, which will be my Death Company Dread. What sort of list can I build with this? You probably want to start with a 1,000-point list, dude, and you probably want to have... Like, I just made a video 2 weeks ago on a 1,000-point list, right? Which was talking about, like, Death Company, Sangre Guard, Intercessors, Lamartez, the Jump Captain with the shield. I think they all sort of fit into 1,000 points. Join our Discord, man. I'm not going to go into a list build from a YouTube comment tonight, but you'd be welcome in the Discord, and if someone doesn't help you, I will help you. Just not in the middle of the army show, right? Yeah, no, this is decent. I think I would play this. I like the 20 Death Company. I like the 9 Sangre Guard. I like the Scouts. I like the Intercessors. It's a little bit heavy on characters, but I mean that's sometimes okay. We've got options there. We've got 1 Death Company, so we've got 3 vehicles, or sorry, 2 vehicles: Death Company Dreadnought, Vindicator tank, and Eradicators. Yeah, I was thinking I need to try and think outside the box and come up with something. And I do think sometimes Rage Cursed could benefit. You know, like, I played a list where I couldn't get to my opponent Gladiator Lancers. They were screened out. They were just killing me from long range every turn. A little cheeky Vindicator tank in reserve, or a little cheeky squad of Eradicators in reserve. Eradicators reroll all hits and wounds and damage. How much you know, they get 6 shots into a Lancer. Is that right? No, 4 shots. What are they armed with again? It's 1 multi-melta and 2 melta rifles, isn't it? Yeah. So you end up with realistically like 3 hits, because you're rerolling all hits. The multi-melta gives you 1.5 hits. The other one gives you 2 times 1.66. No. 2 times 8.8. Yeah, so you end up with like 3.25 hits into Lancer, which you then wound on 5s, but you reroll everything, so you wound 55% of the time. The Lancer doesn't... So realistically, they could do like... I think realistically they do like 6 or 7 damage into a tank that's got a 3-up save and is like toughness 10. It's not the worst. I mean, if you've got a Vindicator tank on there and it can shoot it as well, then you're pretty guaranteed the kill, right? The 3 Eradicators and a Vindicator tank coming in together, focusing on target, using Oath of Moment. Yeah, it's decent. I like this list. I think personally, I'm trying to do something like this in Rage Cursed, but with longer range shooting than Eradicators. Obviously, they only shoot 18, and longer range shooting than Vindicators. Obviously, they only shoot 24. But yeah, the principle around it is decent, right? We have all the melee units, and we've just spent like 250 points on that fire support. That's probably a good number. I think my fire support, like, I was thinking like it would be 2 ballistic dreadnoughts or 2 predator tanks, and that's in the region of 260 to 300 points. So I think this is decent. I think this is it's a good one. Ben, you'll need to tell me how many times you've played it, and how many wins you've got from it. But yeah, no, I like this one. I don't know if I would change too much on it, to be honest. I think you've got all the principles down. I mean, maybe the one thing I could change would be like swap out Dante for a captain. The only reason to do that would be to get the extra points back. 45 points. Would that let you upgrade the Eradicators to something more meaningful? Like, probably not, realistically. But I mean, that's the one play you've probably got here if you're desperate to find some points to do something else. Because I don't think Dante's meaningful enough over a captain that can like reduce your CP cost and can take a Thunderhammer, you know, and a shield, so he's basically the same profile. Yeah, I mean, that's your one play there. I'm personally not running Dante at the moment. I think he's overcosted. But it's not too bad. It's a pretty cool list, Ben. Alright, let's move on. We're looking at Aaron AV8281. He is also playing Rage Cursed Onslaught. Hey there, hope all is well. Just finished my first GT, went 2-3 running this list and wondered what you would change. The bikes either were a key unit or they did nothing, and I was thinking of changing them. The Redemptor was the start of the show, so I don't want to lose him. Overall, I like the feel of the army. I just need a few tweaks. Thanks in advice, and thanks for the great channel. Well, thanks for the kind words, and hopefully we can improve this a little bit. Let's see. We've got a Fight First Captain, we have Dante, we have Lamartas, we have Combi Weapon Lieutenant. We have 10 Jump Intercessors. Do you know what? I think I talked about this last week. I really don't like Jump Intercessors in this detachment. Like, it's the Strength 4 that puts me off them. Like, they're just not meaningful enough. Let's see if he's got the 3 small units of Sangry Guard, but that is much better. Like 3 units of 3 Sangry Guard is much better than Jump Intercessors in this detachment. We've got the Ball Predator, we've got the 10 Death Company with all the special weapons, yes. We have the Infiltrators, we have a unit of Outriders. Outriders are a weird one in this detachment, I agree. They can be good. They're a skirmish unit. They can skirmish pretty nicely, but they also can be targeted quite a lot. I had Outriders at my last tournament, and I've actually won a tournament with Outriders before anyone was using them. Remember when Outriders, before they got that buff to do 2 damage, I was using them in a tournament. So I don't hate them, but I can understand that I think they're a little bit harder to play than Jump Infantry because they've got to move round terrain, whereas Jump Infantry all jump through it. We do have 3 squads of Sangry Guard, so there's no variance there. We have the Redemptor Dreadnought with a Plasma, with a Heavy Flamer, with Frag Storms. I haven't really given the Redemptor Dreadnoughts that much play this edition. I don't know if I feel they're good enough. I mean, -1 damage is handy, but I think they're still pretty expensive at 195 points. And then we have the Vindicator tank, and I always seem to end up, if I've got around the region of 185, 195 points, I would typically take the Vindicator tank. All right, the first thing I see in the list is like, and I made the same mistake because I just went to a tournament with this and made the same mistake. This detachment, the best unit in this detachment is hands down Death Company with jump packs, right? They're the hands down best unit in this detachment. I did the same. I went to a tournament, I only took 10 of them. I see your list only has 10 of them. There's the problem, right? Redemptors are good with Ultramarines because of +1 to Oath. Man, fucking Ultramarines. I think I'm at the point, Calgar, where I'm just like, why do they get all the nice things? Yeah, do you know what? This isn't a million miles away from my tournament list, because my tournament list had 2 units of jump intercessors. My tournament list had a unit of outriders. It had the 10 Death Company. It had 3 squads of Sanguinary Guard, a 3, a 3, and a 3, albeit. Was it a 3 and a 3 and a 3? No, do you know what? I had the 6. I actually had the 6. Okay, so this is really similar to my tournament list. And the things that I didn't like in my tournament list is I feel the Vindicator tanks are not great in this detachment. I think my personal opinion was I felt like it needed longer range fire support. I also felt that jump intercessors were not good in this detachment. So I'd probably start by, like, jump intercessors, we cut them. And if we cut them, then we need to replace them with Death Company with jump packs. So we need to replace the 10 guys with 5 Death Company with jump packs. I'd probably even replace Dante down with a captain, because that gives us 45 more points. And I think if we replace Dante with a captain, then we can get rid of these jump intercessors and replace them with, like, 5 Death Company with a chaplain. I think that's already better. I think if we do that, that would be 225 back. 225 back, let me think for a second. We'd be spending 195, so we'd have 30 points left. I think there's another tweak we probably want to do. And I think it's around... You want to keep the Redemptor? Fine. Let's maybe get rid of the Vindicator. Replace it with something cheaper, like a Ballistus Dreadnought. That gets us another 35, so we've got 70 points. And maybe even go as far as half this unit of Sanguinary Guard. So all 3 Sanguinary Guard units are 3. If we do that, then suddenly we have enough points for another 5 Death Company with a chaplain. So we now have the magic number, which is the 20 Death Company with a chap, and we've got both of them led by chaplains. So we've replaced the 2 units of jump intercessors, which I think are kind of average in this detachment. They can't kill that much. We've replaced them with both 5 Death Company and 2 chaplains. What have we lost? Well, Dante's become a regular captain. We've obviously replaced these 2 units. And then we've just changed the Vindicator tank out for something cheaper. We've kept your Redemptor Dreadnought, even though I'm not sure about that. Like, the logic of the Redemptor Dreadnought is not all that great. And we've kept your Outriders because, like you said, some games they can do really, really well. If you're playing against Orcs, for example, or maybe even Eldar, they can be very, very good. Eldar, obviously, Drukhari obviously have all that anti-infantry firepower. Anti-infantry firepower doesn't really work against bikes because bikes aren't infantry. So, Death Guard also have a ton of anti-infantry firepower. Again, doesn't really work against bikes because bikes aren't infantry. So the bikes can be useful. But I mean, you could find a way to... You could probably drop them and keep a unit of the Assault Intercessors if that you're so inclined to do that as well. But yeah, my opinion of the Vindicators has been... my opinion of Vindicator tanks is they work better in other detachments. I mean, you could reserve it in every single game, but sometimes you come up against an opponent that can screen it. It's got problems with its 24 inches of range. You went 2 and 3. You're trying to get better. The main thing that you're missing is you don't have enough Death Company. The jump intercessors are not good enough in this detachment. And whether or not you necessarily need Outriders, I guess, is a question as well. I agree with most of the things you said. Hopefully I give you some food for thought, Aaron. But ultimately, when we do this show, the ultimate answer lies with you, right? Like, I don't necessarily tell you how to rebuild the list. I just tell you what I would do. I'm not the perfect player. I'm not the best player. I'm just trying to be helpful. So take it or leave it, right? And I feel like I do occasionally do pretty well at tournaments. I'm really trying to get back to 4-1. I went like 4-1 like 3 3 or 4 times in a row or something, and now I've been stuck into the 3-2 hell for like 2 years or something. It's hard to go 4-1 in a tournament, right? Anyway, let's move on. We've got Linkx 9 as our final list for tonight. Hey boss, I've been going through a rough patch in terms of wins and thought maybe it's time to iterate. I've tried Rage Curse, but I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. But here's what I've been thinking for the old reliable detachment, and I'm still trying to give my firstborn models one last hurrah before they go off to Legends. I set a Sangre Guard and a Captain Deep Strike. The Centurions are in the Land Raider. So I think this is going to be a Liberator Assault Group list, so that will be cool, because we haven't seen one of them in a few weeks now. So we have a Captain of the Jump Pack ×3, and a Tech Marine. We have Jump Intercessors ×5, and then Jump Intercessors ×10. We've got a squad of Centurions with Melta Rifle, not Melta Rifles, Twin Meltas and the Siege Drills. We have a Lancer, we have a unit of Incursors, give +1 to hit in the shooting phase. We have Infiltrators for screening. We have a Land Raider, now they're a little bit cheaper. We have Outriders ×2. We have a Predator Destructor. We have 3 small squads of Sangre Guard, and we have a squad of Scouts. I feel like there's too many vehicles. Let me look at this again. Tech Marine, Lancer, Land Raider, Destructor. Maybe it's right on the edge. I guess the Land Raider is a bit cheaper now. When it was 240 points, maybe this was pushing it over. So the Destructor is Is the Destructor 140 points? I thought it was 150, man. Oh, it's 140. So the Destructor is cheaper than a Ballistus Dreadnought. Oh, well, that's what I'm going to be having in my list. I'm going to have Destructors. Yeah, okay. I think I prefer the Destructor to the Ballistus Dreadnought, just because I think the autocannon is really good on it. Like, the autocannon is really good at killing elite infantry, because it gets this, wherever it is, the improved AP against infantry. So your autocannon becomes AP2, your las cannon becomes AP4. If you have heavy bolters, they become AP2. If you have storm bolter, it becomes AP1. I like Destructors for dealing with nasty enemy infantry, and there's a lot of nasty enemy infantry out there, right? Okay, so we've got Destructor, we've got Land Raider full of Centurions. We've got 15 Jump Intercessors. I really wish that some of those Jump Intercessors were attached to by a Chaplain. I think it would probably be worth dropping one Captain that is leading the Sangre Guard, because I think that's the plan here. All 3 small squads of Sangre Guard are led. You don't all need to be led. You could lead 2 of the 3. And give the 10-man Death Company the Chaplain, because I think that is meaningful, because it gives you even more impact mortal wounds, and it gives you like +1 to hit all the time, not even when you're charging, just all the time, for your 10 Jump Intercessors, which I think is +1 to wound when your strength 6 is great, but +1 to wound if you're charged is also pretty useful, on just because of the weight of attacks. Like, those guys get 50 attacks if the squad's at full health. The Centurions are good in that if we can get them into combat, we try and go after the moment target. The Land Raider can move, they can disembark, they can charge. We have Infiltrators, that's good for the backfield. Outriders are a good contesting unit. The Jump Intercessors are a good contesting unit. The small squads of Sangre Guard are much better. You know, like, I actually haven't played the small squads of Sangre Guard since, you know, like, since, I don't think I've played Lag since they buffed the Sangre Guard, since they hit on 2s. So I think this could be good. It feels a little bit sad that there's 0 Death Company. But maybe that's just because everybody's so excited about Death Company in Rage Cursed, right? I mean, Liberator Assault Group doesn't necessarily need Death Company. It's done very well in the past with Jump Intercessors. It's done very well in the past with 18 Blade Guard, right? The Incursors for +1 to hit maybe are like, take it or leave it. Like, +1 to hit, I guess you've got a bunch of las cannons and auto cannons, so +1 to hit is not the worst thing. The Tech Marine, Again, the Tech Marine's fine. You've only got 3 vehicles, but you do have a Land Raider, so you could argue the Land Raider is going to survive at least 1 turn of shooting. You're going to repair it. I think I did a tournament with a Tech Marine and a Land Raider, and what I found was one of 2 things, right? Either the Land Raider is not going to die, and the Tech Marine's healing is irrelevant, or the Land Raider is going to die, and the Tech Marine's healing is irrelevant. I mean, it's cool that he makes the Land Raider hit on 2s with all its guns. That's cool. But, like, is his repair all that valuable? It didn't feel like it. He said he was in a rough patch, right? He was in a rough patch playing Rage Curse. Yeah, I mean, as Liberator Assault Group, this doesn't look too bad. Do you know, I think if this is Liberator Assault Group, I'll make one change. I get rid of these Incursors, and I would put 3 Blade Guard in the Land Raider with the Assault Squad Centurions. Because Blade Guard, if I remember correctly, in Liberator Assault Group, a 3-man squad is actually quite efficient, based on the fact that they can re-roll all their hits of 1. So, like, the 3-man squad gets 15 attacks, right? Because they all get +1 attack on the charge. They're coming out of the Land Raider, they get +2 strength. They re-roll hits of 1 from their Sword of the Imperium. Sorry, it used to be called Sword of the Imperium, now it's called Sword of the Chapter. So, if you imagine a squad of Blade Guard jumping out of a Land Raider, it's only 3 guys, but it is 15 attacks. And they do hit 77% of the time. Let's say you were going into something like enemy intercessors. Yeah? Like toughness 4 or 5. 2 wound models with a 3-up save. You know, they're AP2. So you, first of all, you wound 66% of the time. So now you're asking enemy models like intercessors to save on 5s. So 66% of the damage goes through. So statistically, 3 Blade Guard and Liberator Assault Group should statistically kill a whole unit of intercessors, assuming you use your reroll hits of 1. So for 80 points, they're quite an effective trade piece. I mean, I guess that's why people were using 18 of them for a while, right? There was a time when people were just running 18 Blade Guard and Liberator Assault Group. So I think having the option of the second squad, because the Land Raider holds 12 models, the Centurions fill 9 slots. So that would let you put a second kind of useful / deadly squad into the Land Raider. Another thing about it is, if you don't need them in the Land Raider, 3 Blade Guard are quite good at sitting on a side field objective, because they've got a 4-up in 1 save, they've got 3 wounds per model. So if you spike some 4-ups, or they're hitting you with 2 damage, it can take a lot to drop 3 Blade Guard. I think Blade Guard are very good in Liberator Assault Group. I guess +1 to hit from the Incursors isn't too bad, but I think Blade Guard are like a top tier pick in Liberator Assault Group, so I think I would swap that. I mean, there could even be an argument for like dropping another unit of Outriders for a second 3-man squad of Blade Guard, just because they are that good in that detachment. And then the Tech Marine pick is fine. I'm not convinced you need him, but if you've got Land Raider, I can understand why you would want him, right? You've got 4 las cannons there, having them hit on 2s, it's nice. Having the multi-melta hit on 2s, it's nice. I forget what other guns a Land Raider has. It's got multi-melta, it's got las cannons. It's maybe got like some bolters. Oh, it's got 1-shot hunter killer missile. This model is equipped with twin bolters, 2 las. Yeah. So you swap out the... Oh, it's got heavy bolter as well. Alright, well, heavy bolter hitting on 2s as well. I hear one of my kids awake. And we're kind of at the end of the show, so it's probably best that I go deal with that. Because someone's going to be crying in a second. Michael, I'm just coming. apologise. Yeah, so perfect timing. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Me and Michael are going to go and have cuddles in bed, and hopefully I don't fall asleep in bed with you again, because it's only 9 o'clock, Michael. Alright. Have a nice evening, guys. Take care. Hopefully I covered everybody's list reasonably well. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.